Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back again to talk with you about the week's most interesting news stories for the week of April 8th, 2025 here on News AF.
If the story is buzzing like it's on crystal meth, it's about to be News AF. If the same old news makes you bored to death, it's time for some News AF. Actual, factual news.
Yeah, that's right. News AF is back here together with a special edition with a Tyson Apostol reporting from San Antonio. Tyson, how are you?
Oh, I'm incredible. Bucket list sporting event. 2 wild games on the weekend. And the second one with Duke was insane. There was a point where Duke was in the lead by 14 points. With a minute left, they were up by like 6 points and were like 95% probability to win the game.
Yeah.
That changed very, very quickly, as there was maybe a questionable call, but also a couple missed shots and some made shots by Houston. Anyways, Ethan invited me, who is our friend from Survivor, and he had gotten invited by one of his buddies, and then Ethan invited me. We have amazing seats, like 15 rows up from the court, and one of the other guys that was with us had been betting on Houston throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like all in on Houston, and he's like very interested in the game because he has so much money riding in Houston. And the crowd, there's like almost 70,000 people there. And so the guy who had the tickets is like, I want to get out of here no matter what before the crowd.
That's such a dad move.
And he's like, let's leave at the minute mark. He's like, I will stay till the minute left mark. And at the minute mark, it looked like it was a lock for Duke. So he tells Ethan, Ethan tells me, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I look over at the guy that had bet all the money on Houston, and I'm like, hey, these guys want to go at the minute. He's like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, if we leave at the minute, like we're committed to, Houston will be okay. But if we stay, it's not going to be okay.
Yeah.
You just add some luck elements to stuff to get people to do what you want. He's totally fine with leaving. We walk out at the minute mark, but now we have it on everybody that's walked out a little bit early has it live on their phone watching it. And Houston makes a basket. Now it's a 4-point game. Everybody with their phones like, oh my God. And you can hear the stadium erupt. Then it's like a 3-point game. And then it's tied, and then Duke missed a shot, and it's just like going crazy. Even outside, everybody on their phone, these little groups of people gathered around phones are like, oh my, And there was one guy that was so into the game and probably inebriated. He took a wonky step off of this stair.
Oh my God.
Refused to take his eyes off of his phone. Ran it out. He literally was parallel with the ground, about 6 inches above the ground for like 20 yards while he had his feet barely under him, trying to catch himself, but refusing to put his hands out because he was holding his phone watching the game. Came to a skidding stop with his forehead on the ground. So that none of the
Eyes
stadium
never
got
left
to
the
see
screen.
that.
Yeah. Could you tell, was he a Duke fan or Houston fan?
I think he was Houston. Anybody who wasn't
takes the sting off.
Yeah, anybody who wasn't with Duke wearing Duke stuff was rooting for Houston because they had been getting slaughtered the whole game. Houston wasn't really playing their best, and Duke, the amount of hubris in the Duke audience there at the stadium was palpable because they were so far ahead. They just thought it was a done deal. And so I wish I were there in the stadium, not to witness the last minute in person, but to watch the Duke fans' demeanor change.
Crushed. Yeah.
Sobbing, crying, destroyed. And it was beautiful.
Wow.
It was beautiful. Yeah. So very excited for the games tonight. It is Monday. We're recording early for the game tonight. Yeah. And I hope it's as riveting as that last game was.
Can I ask a question that hopefully doesn't get me canceled or ended, but like, Duke versus Houston, and I'm not college sports like aficionado know-it-all. What the hell is Houston? Where we did? Has anybody ever heard of Houston before?
So this is their third time, I believe, to the
Nope.
finals. Yeah.
Oh, to the finals.
To the
It's their
finals?
yeah.
To the final. Yeah.
It's their eighth. It's their.
What's
it
their
was their
team? It's the Houston what?
Cougars.
Houston Cougars.
Yeah.
It was the 7th or 8th time to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Now it's the
Yeah.
3rd time to the finals, and they're in the Big 12, I think.
What do I know? But I
Yeah,
never
they're
heard
in
of,
our
like-
they're in our
They're in
division.
BYU's
They play
division.
BYU. So
Yeah. So we see. So we're familiar with them now because they are
Mhm.
present around all the BYU teams. But yeah, they and Duke's look hasn't changed since Christian Laettner. They still are, preppy, tall, lanky, white kids with
Mhm.
like weird preppy haircuts and everything. And then it's just like the generations of generations all there together watching the game, like with great grandpa who
sounds
was
like inbreeding.
They have a brand.
they have a brand and they hit that brand so hard, and they've been hitting that brand so hard, and all you want is for them to lose. It's that. Do you remember that documentary, Everybody Hates Christian Laettner?
No.
I do not. But
I'm
again,
surprised how into college basketball you are, Tyson.
How do you mean?
I don't know, you seem to have a lot of knowledge.
I mean, I just remember Christian Laettner back in the 90s. And
That's a
now-
lot. To remember one college basketball player from the 90s is a lot.
Rob knows who Christian
world.
Laettner
I
is.
know
know
he
of
did it.
him. I know of him. I really don't know a lot about it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was selected for the Dream Team, the first time they let pros into the Olympics, and he was like the fresh out of college or in college. They had one guy like that, and it was between him and Shaq, and they
Mhm.
selected Christian Laettner to represent in the Olympics that year.
Oh, pie
And-
on their face.
And Christian Laettner played in the NBA, but he was always so unlikable. Just his face was punchable. And that was like why people hated him, because his face was punchable. And the Duke team, a lot of their faces are still punchable. And I think you get extra credit if
Is that
you-
one of the recruiting strategies?
yes, find the most punchable
find a
faces in
focus
basketball.
And then they pass around pictures and say, which of these faces is most punchable?
Mhm.
And then whatever the focus group says, they're like, okay.
Bring him in.
Yeah.
Bring 'em
And they
in.
have
Yeah.
two of these freshman phenoms whose faces both are pretty punchable. They seem like nice kids, whatever, but they do have punchable looking faces. But they're phenoms, full, like the star of Duke basketball right now is a freshman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
Cooper
his right
Could you
Flag.
hand,
imagine?
Cooper
Could you
Flag.
imagine
And
being
then-
a freshman and being the star? Like, to me, that's an immense amount of pressure.
and he was 17. He just turned 18 like a handful of
Mhm.
weeks or months ago. Everybody was like, anytime he'd make a shot, the Duke fans would be like, he should still be in high school, just
Yeah.
to rub it in a little bit
Can't even
extra.
imagine.
But yet under fire for a late game decision,
Yes,
according to this article.
he'll have other opportunities.
Mhm.
No, he's done.
He's done.
That's
Well,
it.
Let's bring in a man with the opposite of a punchable face. It's Danny
Oh.
Bryson. Danny, how are you?
Punchable face is just determined like by the individual. I'm sure everybody has a different idea of a punchable face.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
but
who
there's
knows? I might have a punchable face in some.
to
culture.
some you definitely do,
They're like,
but
"Oh,
it's
I wanna
not
punch that
widely
face."
celebrated. It's not like you go on punchablefaces.com and yours is one of the
That would have been
faces
better
listed.
than Hot or
Yeah.
Not would have been punchable faces.
Yeah.
We
maybe
could
that is
make
a thing.
punchable
Should I type it in or
probably.
punchablefaces.com? No,
It's got to be.
might be
taken.
available. Might be too violent. Good. Go Daddy might say, no way.
Punchable.
No,
No.
Daddy.
You could do
Stop,
that.
Daddy.
Punchablefaces.com, and then
By
you
the way,
just,
never punch anyone in the face. No one wants to be punched in the face, but we all understand it as a concept.
Where should you punch people? Like in the stomach?
No,
you shouldn't punch.
The bread
Oh,
basket?
could you imagine? Maybe a friendly punch in the arm, which my 12-year-old does from time to time. I'm like, dang, dude, that hurts. How does your tiny fist produce so much energy? It's like the smaller the fist, the finer the point of contact, and it just feels stronger.
Interesting.
You
Yeah,
guys
I-
want to know another fun fact about Duke basketball?
Oh, I did the Dukelopedia here.
There's a guy that's from Australia that plays on their team.
Wow.
Of course, those Aussies are pumping out great basketball players. No?
Like who?
Didn't we have one play for the Jazz?
We did. The
don't even
3-point
remember
guy,
his
the
name.
3-point guy for.
So there you go.
a couple
There's one.
years. Yeah.
That's pretty good for an island.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's a
you're getting
continent.
it's a continent, Danny.
Whatever. No, I know what it is, guys. It can be both those things. Okay. So
I mean, all the
Yeah.
continents are in a way an island.
yeah, that's a good point,
I
Tyson.
didn't think about
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Really opening my mind.
We are.
Yeah. Okay. Danny is back and rested from spring break last week.
Whoa. Rested? No.
Are your
But
kids
I
in
am
school
back.
today?
Yes, they went
Yes,
back.
we
They're
are back
very
in school
upset.
today also.
Okay. So much anger this
Mhm.
morning.
Yeah.
Rage?
Why the anger?
They don't want to go back.
Oh, from there have anger.
Yeah, they no, me, no. It's like,
You're
let's
relieved.
go, children, rise,
Mhm.
prepare, leave. They're like, oh, I hate school. You're like, it's almost over. Like, not over
Yeah.
soon enough. Rawr.
Mm-hmm.
Get out.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, summer is on the way. I don't know if either of you have any plans for being by the pool this summer, but maybe you might want to try out what this one Rhode Island man, Tom Carroll, did as he lost 132 pounds eating Chick-fil-A every day.
Yeah, suck it, Ozempic.
One simple trick a
Yes.
Rhode Island man did that your doctors don't want you to know about.
Okay, now did
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A do a background check on this guy first?
Oh no.
before
You think he's gonna get
the
Ken boned?
news came?
No,
But,
Jared
from Subway.
Jared
Well,
Fogle.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. The
like
Fogel.
Subway was like falling over themselves. Like, wow, make this guy the face of Subway.
Yeah.
You get Fogel, do you get Ken boned?
It's gonna
Mhm.
happen. Maybe
Possibilities
this
are
guy
endless.
does this guy live upstairs of a Chick-fil-A?
So he had a cardiac event in December of 2023, and so then starting somehow starting before the cardiac event, he began eating Chick-fil-A's spicy Southwest salad daily for lunch, and he totals 400 salads in a year.
How many days of the year does he have diarrhea?
That
Like,
does not say.
I'd like to see
Does not
that
say.
data.
He also, in addition to eating the spicy Southwest salad, he also eliminated alcohol. Then he stopped devouring pizzas. He also joined a gym.
Okay. All right. The whole Chick-fil-A thing is a misdirect because those other things,
Help.
that's huge.
Yeah. Kudos to this guy. He put in the work actually.
Mm-hmm.
He went to a gym, cut out alcohol,
Eating
not
salad.
eating tons of pizza. He's eating
Yeah.
salad. I mean,
We could all learn a lesson from
Yeah.
this gentleman.
yeah.
I think he's looking for some attention. To date so far, he has received a free salad from his local Chick-fil-A.
You could earn so many more if you had the Chick-fil-A app.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's probably received hundreds of free salads if he's eating. Is it just one a day? Is he pounding 2 a day? What's
does-
his routine?
I think one a day, but they say he totals 400 salads in a year, and Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday, so I don't know if he some days eats 2.
So his first thing in the morning, he wakes up at 3:30 a.m. and he pounds a frozen Chick-fil-A salad, right?
Oh, he
Is
does
that-
the Big Mac thing where he freezes them and then
I don't think he freezes the salad.
By the way, that Big Mac dude with the huge mullet, the world-class mullet, he was in the news again. They were bringing him back out. They wheeled him back out to point out, like, look at this
he
guy.
ate another 10,000 Big Macs.
He ate another 10,000 Big Macs. His mullet isn't as long, and I don't know if that's
Mhm.
a side effect of so many years of Big Macs, but man,
I don't think he ever
Mhm.
had a long mullet. He just looked like
No,
like a
he had
beaky
something going on.
birdie guy with like he had something going on. It was like all the same length, but and his hair was super straight.
I swear it was like a Bee Gees front, and then it went down his back to his butt.
I think he just trimmed his bangs when they got in his eyes, and everything else
But
was
everything else party
yeah.
behind him.
But
Yeah.
that dude was cool. How long do you think we have before this Chick-fil-A guy gets sponsored by Chick-fil-A and then ultimately goes to prison?
I don't know. I feel like they're probably within a year, right?
It's a year turnaround. Jared had a crazy
He had a
run
long
for
run. He had a
for
long
No,
run.
how
not in
disgusting
this
his
day and
crimes
age.
were.
Not in this day and age. I think that the minute you bring the spotlight onto
Yeah.
yourself, you've got like a week, and then everything will be uncovered.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he was putting cameras behind toilets at Chick-fil-A. That's why he
Mm.
went there so often.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
We don't know anything.
No,
don't
we
know anything.
don't. But I'm saying like it usually is a week, and then these things come out.
So, in addition to the Chick-fil-A salad, his other meals would only be yogurt and fruit for breakfast.
Oh, that's what I had, guys.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to brag, but
He also cut out
But you
sports
and him are
drinks
the
and
same.
soda.
Sports drinks. How's he gonna work out?
I don't know.
Yeah, sports drinks are a joke. They're basically
Whoa.
just soda in a different form with
Shots.
some electrolytes.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not as tasty and they don't
Yeah.
have carbonation. So
People are like, "Oh, why don't you bring Gatorade?" I'm like, "This Mountain Dew and your Gatorade are very similar.
they're identical
They're
builds.
cousins
On the
in the
molecular
beverage world.
level, they're gonna do the same damage to our
Yeah.
bodies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There's so much
Yeah.
sugar."
They're just sugary drinks
Mhm.
with some salt added, but they're salt added to soda. So
Yeah, that's
Wow.
true.
yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see if be on the lookout
Best of luck.
for this man to Tom Carroll. He's a 6'2" digital content producer for Boston, where I'm headed this week.
Wow.
Oh,
Are you
Maybe
gonna
he'll be at the RHAP live show.
link up?
Yeah. Hey, I'll meet you at
Cool.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. You should just go to Chick-fil-A, see if you see him.
Maybe I got to go to the right one. Can I say,
Yeah.
I was walking around yesterday with my sons and we were like in like an outdoor shopping mall, and I walked past the store and I saw in the store, they have like a big sticker on the store that says Klarna. Klarna
Oh.
accepted here. I had to stop in my midday to hail Klarna.
Did you
Yeah.
hail Klarna? Good.
Hail Klarna.
El Klarna.
Yeah, my kid's like, what are you talking about, Dad? Listen, in
You
this
don't get
house,
it.
we respect Klarna.
Yeah, Klarna.
Hail Klarna.
Somebody sent me a meme that said, or just a tweet that was just like the years 2064. I owe like X amount of money on a bean burrito I bought in 2016. Something's like Klarna related. That was hilarious.
Klarna bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listeners love Klarna.
Yeah, we all love Klarna.
We all love Klarna. We hail Klarna. That one day Klarna will own all of us.
El Klarna.
Hail Klarna. Okay. How about this is an interesting story about a person in Denver who has been targeted by what the authorities are calling a mysterious poop chucker who has been targeting a Colorado woman for
Is
not
that a bird
picking
now?
up
A poop
the
chucker? Is that a bird?
mysterious
Oh,
poop
that
chucker?
does sound like a bird.
Yeah, the poop chucker bird.
Well,
It's a human.
no, I think it's a human. I
Okay.
don't think it's like a bird just dropping.
I actually saw this TikTok.
Oh yeah, there's
Hey.
a TikTok about this.
I didn't hear it. What's going on here?
Yeah, what'd you see?
Chucking.
So there was a dog walker walking some dogs that pooped on a lawn, and then the dog walker did not pick up the poop from the dog. So the woman who owned the property went out and confronted her, and the dog walker picked up the poop and threw it at her face, and some of it got in her mouth,
Oh,
and she had to clean up and do all this stuff. And then the husband went out, and the dog walker was like, the gall, the audacity you have to come out and yell at me. And they're like, it's our property on our, and she's like, yeah, blah, blah.
Classic dog.
so
walking
then-
behavior.
Yeah.
okay, that's a different case.
That's a different
Whoa!
case.
Different case, yeah. So in
Multiple
this
poop
case,
chuckers.
yes. Okay. So there is a woman who believes that a vigilante is targeting her as she has been waking up to an unknown man throwing bags of dog poop into her yard and onto her driveway.
Does she have a dog that she was leaving poops around outside of this? And this is the payback?
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
a
Somebody's on a
vigilante.
crusade against those who do not
Doing the
pick up
Lord's
after their
work.
dog. Danny,
Yes.
where were you on the night in question?
I was probably in California. Where did this take
Doing the
place?
same
This
thing.
is Colorado.
He was in California doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what?
This
Good
lady
work.
deserves it.
Yeah.
If
the
she's
whole-
leaving poop around somewhere and somebody's coming back at poop with her, then yeah,
Mhm.
you call the dude a vigilante. He's probably trying to
Yeah.
make things right somehow.
Because in the investigation, several of the woman's neighbors noted that this woman is known for failing to pick up her dog's waste. Maybe could the whole town be in that?
yeah, I was just thinking the neighbors
Amazing.
are now the prime suspects
Mhm.
here.
Amazing.
Still,
Wow.
they're picking up a dog's turd.
Well, but in plastic.
No, I know how it's done.
Yeah.
I've seen
It-
people do it.
And then
It's
they
gross. Yeah.
I love my favorite
with
part
it.
is when they put it in the bag and then set it aside on these
Yeah.
trials. They're like,
Yeah.
I'll come back. But in their hearts, they know
they're
they're never coming back.
Yeah, they leave it. So then you get not only the poop, but you also
Yeah,
get the
but it's
plastic.
creating a geological layer that future civilizations can dig down to. And they're like, oh, this is the dog poop bag layer.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is
like
where-
2024, just above the mask layer.
Yeah,
So
this is 2005 to 2025.
we don't even have to carbon date this dirt. We know because we hit a bag of poop.
Mhm.
And we're good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is probably how it will. So yeah, I feel zero sympathy for this woman.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Well, authorities are still on the loose for the mysterious poop chucker. Colorado.
Why they're not looking for her. They're not looking for the poop chucker. They're like, I hope it keeps going.
I mean, it's
Could be a
news.
cop.
What?
Could be a cop, a dirty cop.
Dirty cop.
You mean the only cop in the precinct doing the right thing? All the other cops are dirty, taking bribes. She's probably bribing all the cops to continue to leave her
to
poop around.
overlook her poop violations.
And the one guy's like, I'm not taking your dirty money. Yeah.
Okay.
Cracked it.
All right. Well, a setback for AI in court as a AI avatar lawyer has been thrown out of court trying to represent a plaintiff in an employment dispute. And the New York State Supreme Court Judicial Department has bounced the AI avatar.
Because it was just making stuff up.
I think that the person in question, from what I understand, he was using an AI avatar to avoid his usual speech. So I think he was like typing things in, and then the AI avatar was acting as his lawyer. But it wasn't a real
the
person.
avatar? Was it like I mean, you could pick anything.
I don't think yeah. Well, I guess that the AI avatar doesn't have a law degree.
I mean,
it's FaceTime, right?
Past the bar.
Yeah, I think so. I think that some of these AI things can pass the bar. So here, let me show you a picture from the article. And so I think that this man in the Zoom window, I don't know if I can like go any closer in on it. That's the AI avatar that was talking to the judges.
Oh, that's a good idea. If you have like tons of neck tattoos and face tattoos, you could use a nice clean cut Duke basketball player avatar right there.
No, you don't want a lawyer with a punchable face.
No, you're right. You're
I
right.
mean, but most lawyers, I think that's one of the prerequisites.
And you talk about how you went to Duke together.
Yeah, exactly. both parties talk about how they both went to Duke Law School, and then
he's like, oh, I don't even need to hear this case. You're free to go.
Oh yeah, the judge is also a Duke graduate.
Of course.
He should be wearing a Duke sweatshirt, the AI avatar.
Absolutely. That doesn't look bad. So what was the hang up? He's just using it to argue for his case, but he's the one providing the words. If he's a lawyer, then
he wasn't a lawyer, though, I don't think.
Oh, well, that's a problem. Yeah, maybe that's a problem.
That Justice Gonzalez halted the video and reprimanded the plaintiff for lack of disclosure.
Oh, he tried to trick him into thinking the AI
that
guy
it was a real
lawyer.
person.
They don't like tricks. Not
he
in court.
represented himself, but used the lawyer avatar to avoid his typical speech difficulties.
Now it's all making sense.
Okay. I actually, though, I mean, you would think that AI would be proficient enough in law speak with all the information it has at its fingertips, but I found that AI right now is kind of a yes man. We used Grok to try and get to the bottom of the end of a movie. I think I already tell you guys this.
You told us that.
Yeah. So if this guy's like, I did nothing wrong, AI automatically believes no matter what that this guy did nothing wrong, which I guess is what you want your lawyer to.
Yeah, you want him to
maintain
just,
anyways.
no matter what, even if he finds you with the knife in your hand.
Lawyer doesn't even want to know if you did it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess I don't hate it, but
No, Needs to be refined.
Needs to be refined.
It sounds like the real problem was not disclosing the truth up front, not necessarily the AI.
But they wouldn't have liked it if they knew the truth.
So if you go to punchablefaces.com, you can select the lawyer of your choice at your lawyer avatar designed around a real person.
Yeah. Maybe do you need a lawyer that like is less polished as an AI avatar? Because they'll never believe it's AI if it's like a really like homely, like not well put together lawyer.
I try my best.
Yeah.
This guy was too perfect. This guy's like a real Chad. That I need like a lawyer who looks like a gremlin. They'll never think that's fake.
A Susan Boyle.
Yes, the Susan Boyle of
edition.
Right? Because that she got up there and they're like, she can't sing, she can't do anything.
Yes,
and she knocked their socks off.
Yeah, that's great point.
Yeah,
wow,
and those are judges too on American Idol.
Yeah, and they probably all went to Duke. You know how punchable those faces were.
Yeah, that's sure. I mean, I think it was like UK's Got Talent, so maybe they like were Dukes. I don't know if they went to Duke.
I think you guys you've solved it. You've cracked this case. You need a Susan Boyle representation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I get an AI Susan Boyle to represent me?
Yeah. Fumbling over paperwork and be like, just 1 second, Your Honor.
But the minute she gets started, she's like a powerhouse of law. Just like,
well, and her backstory is she tried to get into Duke Law School, but ended up having to go to the community college outside of Duke. But then because she worked so hard, she ended up being a better lawyer than the Duke graduates anyways.
She was delivering pizzas and getting her law degree at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and Susan Boyle, the song she sings is from like Les Mis, where the guy like stole the bread, right?
Yeah.
And she's kind of like could be a lawyer.
The old Jean Valjean conundrum.
Yep.
Okay. A giant Mars balloon has escaped the Kennedy Center, and traffic was disrupted as a 30-foot tall inflatable Mars balloon broke free in Washington, D.C.
Does it look like the planet Mars and it's a display?
Yeah, it does. It's huge too. Look at it.
Can you
imagine those
imagine
cars?
Here,
Can you imagine if it had gotten up high enough where people thought they were seeing Mars with their naked eye?
The moon is coming, because they wouldn't think it was Mars. They would think it was the moon on fire in re-entry.
Or its perfect alignment to create a solar eclipse for like 3 people
over one car.
Look at this giant balloon that's broken free.
Oh, it's not as impressive. You could be like, is that a testicle from
look at it compared to the cars.
That is big.
I love how that guy who drives around is like, I got to get to work. I don't care what this is. I don't
have to crash into Mars.
Actually, lots of people are driving around and like, I don't know what this is.
Oh, man.
When it comes to work, you got to get to work.
The road.
Doesn't matter what's in the road. Yeah. So where was it? Was it like floating above the building or in a lost air? Was there a team of people holding on to ropes underneath it? Like
they had an exhibit. I'm not sure if it was indoors or outdoors, but yeah, it escaped.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pull that back in, do some scrotox on it, and get it back up.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Got to get that thing nice.
Said it was like James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Could you hide under it and then scare the crap out of whoever comes to clean it up?
Yeah. Is it heavy? Does it weigh anything?
No, that just looked like a
fabric
hot air balloon.
Yeah,
but smaller.
Yeah. I don't know. If it goes over you the right way, you could maybe suffocate.
Yeah, that's maybe true. Danny used to find weather. He probably still does find weather balloons. What's the last one you found?
It's been a while, but I found like 3 or 4 in a very short period of time. And they'd have these little envelopes or packages that you would use to send the information back.
Yeah.
And I'd send it back and I found out there was no reward. I was disappointed.
Did you ever get a response?
I never even got a response. So you're welcome, weather people.
Yeah. So they'd send up these weather balloons that measure the weather up in the sky. And then Danny would just come across him on his adventures and scoop him up, a deflated balloon with whatever mechanisms. He wasn't in it for the reward.
No,
he was in it for the greater scientific community.
Love science.
But you still want to thank you from,
right?
even if it's an
Like a
Susan Boyle
sticker.
AI scientist. That's like,
Yeah.
thank you, Danny.
Thank you for taking the time to hike out in the middle of nowhere, find this balloon, gather up the important pieces, and send them back to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. You can choose any punchable face from
.com.
Mhm.
And have a
say
good
thank
strike.
you. Yeah.
Maybe
Yep.
one day, Danny.
Maybe.
if you found the
I'm holding my
Mars
breath.
giant balloon.
Nah, they don't. It's not in the budget.
They're not
Yeah.
giving you any
Thanks.
punchable face
Yeah.
AI thank yous.
All right, let me tell you about a church, an upstart church in England that is really maybe about to take the world by storm.
Okay.
That they are opening their doors to pro wrestling to attract people to the church.
I love this. Wrestling for the Lord.
Yes, they host Wrestling Church, where churchgoers watch professional wrestlers perform in the church.
That's awesome. Can they have one guy dressed as Satan and they always
Oh,
pin
of
him
course.
down?
Retell the stories of like Jonah in the well, like Jonah wrestling the well. The well
Yeah.
comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonah's there. That'd be
Like-
awesome.
Yeah, Jesus could be like a Hulk Hogan-esque figure that like comes down and is like everybody, like the crowd
Basically,
goes nuts.
every
Not today,
story,
Satan.
every
Yeah.
story in the Bible could be turned into a wrestling storyline.
Mhm. And the Book of Mormon. Don't forget.
Yeah, you have way more than just one book to draw from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check this out. This is the Wrestling Church.
His face is pretty punchable. Do you want that?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, it depends. Is he a villain?
Is he Satan?
If this is a good wrestling group, then you need to have villains and heroes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand though. Are they telling stories or you're just watching wrestling and there's another part where there's a reverend telling you stuff?
So that there is a wrestler, Gareth Thompson, who's 37 years old. He credits wrestling and Jesus for saving him. So he's created the Wrestling Church to blend faith and entertainment. Yes?
Could you imagine 500 years ago the peasants that put their blood, sweat, and tears into constructing this over 100 years?
Yeah, into
Getting a vision of like this, be like, what has happened?
here is the belief system we will create,
Like,
and then
this-
it's morphed into
so
this.
pious, so holy, and then they're like, "There's wrestling. What is happening right now?"
If they were familiar with the telephone game, they would have realized that this is what it was going to come to anyways.
Eventually,
Yeah.
go to this. This guy, I mean, I'm glad. Can you do it somewhere else though? Some people really like their churches and don't necessarily want wrestling to take
Well,
place.
but the church needs a reason for people to come in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and
super
you know what?
churches aren't enough, dude. With all the
It's-
fun, like water slides and stuff, that's not enough anymore.
It's hard to keep them open. I'm sure it must cost $1 bazillion to keep a 1,000-year-old church open or whatever the age is.
Mhm.
Yeah, heating is like
Oh
$75
my
trillion
gosh.
a month.
Yeah, I mean, when you can just heat it with the bodies of the wrestlers as
Yeah.
they wrestle on the mat.
I bet it's so steamy in there, dude.
Yeah.
Is this where like the future stars of the WWE will come from? They're like, well, I was at wrestling church for a while, and then I worked my way up the ranks of wrestling church. I finally defeated Satan, and then at that point, they had moved me on to fight the Undertaker in the real WWE.
But Undertaker does a lot of work in the church, Tyson. He has a casket match. It puts people in the coffin. You have a funeral.
This guy
There's
says
so
when
many
he-
cool things you could do.
When this guy became a Christian, he started seeing wrestling, the wrestling world, through a Christian lens.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how I view the world.
See, and he kind of went down the same thought path that we did. I started seeing David and Goliath, Cain and Abel. He's doing exactly what we
Yeah.
did. He started thinking of all these different stories of the
I mean,
underdog.
Kane is literally in the WWE.
Yeah, I started.
He's the brother of the Undertaker.
Yeah, does Kane have hairy arms in here?
Kane is the mayor of a town.
We
Kane.
could tell these stories. I think that this is a pretty good idea. I don't know if the execution's great. I feel like they should have
It'll get
way more
better.
theatrics. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true.
And costumes. They need more.
Oh yeah,
also
that
more
costume is
costumes.
not biblical.
They need more storylines, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that maybe then, like, say, if like a bad guy, and then they end up joining the church, and then they're a good guy.
Yeah, the prodigal son.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
used to be
dude.
wrestling for myself.
That'll be
Nice.
the best part when the prodigal son, like from the corner of the church, Father, I've returned. And the
Yeah.
father's stoked, but then the older brother, like, body slams him when he tries to get in the ring. He's like, "You're not taking my inheritance."
Yeah, but then the prodigal son fucking
No, then the
pile
dad
drives
tag team.
Satan.
No, then the dad tag
Mhm.
teams the older son. He's like,
Yeah.
"I've given you everything,"
You know,
and then the younger son starts beating on him. If they need my help to write some of these wrestling
yeah.
storylines,
You got
I'm available.
Judas. That's a good one.
Judas is a
Oh,
great one, dude. That's
there
like
are
a
so
full
many.
grudge match of 12 apostles just
He hits Jesus with a chair.
from behind. So
Mhm.
everyone's like, what happened? Yeah. And then
Could be
Jesus
good.
is like, don't retaliate. Just let him continue
To be honest,
Yeah,
I'll be
he
surprised.
turns the
if
other cheek.
For
this
where
is a
out thou knowest what thou hast donest. That's from the Bible when
Mhm.
Jesus is
So
talking
thank
about
you. Thank you
Judas.
for quoting that, Tyson.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if they're still doing this in a year. It's not
Yeah.
going to be enough money to keep the church open.
They only had like 200 people, so it's not necessarily like it's a phenomenon yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, well, doing better than how about this? When a leader, and maybe they need to get this guy in the wrestling church, the leader of a satanic grotto was arrested after he tried to have a black mass, a satanic mass at the Kansas State House.
Can you imagine
last month.
having the wrestlers go in as the raid and just be like, fucking pile drives everywhere. Every satanic person gets a pile drive. And
Priest
then-
comes in and slaps the black mask guy in the steak.
Good God, that's Moses' music. He comes in with the 10 Commandments and just starts bashing the Satan
Look,
guys.
every scene here for the rest of this podcast, we could break down in wrestling terms. By the way, I don't even want to see normal mass at a steakhouse. It has nothing to do with the
State House, not steakhouse.
State house.
It says steakhouse
Hmm.
in your little like.
Delicious.
That's what I was thinking. I thought it was a steak. That's why I said slaps him in the face with a steak.
Yeah.
because
Oh.
in the
Yeah,
in
that's
the
a
little
typo.
description.
That's a
Yeah.
typo. It was at the State House. It would make more sense
make
if the satanic black mass was at
A
a
steakhouse.
steakhouse, but it was
I was-
actually at
I
the
also-
State House.
Yeah. I think it would get I think it would be fine at the steakhouse. They'd just be
Another
like,
boring
"There's-
event at a boring place. It's like, no,
Yeah.
the steakhouse made more sense. You're sitting there with your family eating steaks,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden, I don't know.
All of a sudden, wrestlers drop in from the skylights.
So were they were arrested attempting to do this?
Yeah, only 30 people were at the State House. So I mean, that's if you're just keeping
Steakhouse.
score. 200 people are at wrestling church. Only 30 people are at the
Yeah.
satanic mass
Oh, so we
at
know
the
who's
Kansas City
winning.
State House.
You think the satanic mass people should also incorporate wrestling and tell their story?
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. I mean, if anything, if the satanic mass wanted to get people going, they should have wrestling going on.
So, hear me out here. Wrestlers at that level probably need jobs. So if you're attending both masses and see the same wrestler there, would your mind just be blown? It would be like seeing an actor play a bad guy and a good
Oh,
guy,
I see.
or
Yeah.
would you be understanding enough to be like, this guy's just a wrestling guy. He's
A
not.
man can have many faces.
He's not committed to either or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Look at
Um,
these
They actually
losers.
drew 100 Christians to protest the satanic mass.
Could you
All you
imagine
needed
having
was
the
one
time-
wrestling Christian.
having the time to protest these people? Like, whatever.
yeah.
Cool state
Okay.
building though. It looks old.
Yeah.
Stone and
Where is it?
it's not that old,
Oh,
I'm sure.
okay.
Well, good for them. I mean, move your mass to somewhere else. Black mass should be held in like caves, thick
Basements.
forests, dark forests,
Yeah.
basements.
Old
I will say,
houses.
I want to show you the guy who ran the satanic mass. He's got a pretty cool look.
Yeah,
This
let me see.
guy. Here he is.
No, that's
Michael
exactly.
Stewart, the president of the Kansas City area Satanic Grotto.
He's got
Look
a
at
full
that beard.
face, and he's got a face tat, I think, on that side.
Yeah.
So his username on
This guy understands the
punchablefacesdot.com,
assignment.
He definitely has a point. That goatee, it makes his face very punchable.
and that dark red tie.
Like
Yeah.
whenever you see the Satan goat with the goatee, that's kind of like the similar hair. It makes me think that he's really in touch. with
Yeah,
the
he's
whole
got
vibe.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
He wants to do unbaptisms.
suck people back out from water.
I don't
All
even know
the
how you
water
do
out
that.
of people.
Mhm.
Christians, he's taken Christians. I've never once.
I think
like,
fire is the
I'm
only
not
way
a
to do
church
that.
going guy, but I've never once been like, you know what? I should swing all the way opposite and discover what the dark arts has for us. Like that, it's like,
Yeah, I'm gonna go believe shopping, and then don't believe in the big light guy up in the sky trying
Yeah.
to help me out.
Mhm.
Why not?
why not
go to the dark?
his mortal enemy?
Yeah, go check out his enemy, see what he's got to say.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Could
then
they make a Lex Luthor movie where Lex Luthor is the hero?
Oh,
they've never
absolutely.
done that before.
They've never done that.
I don't
Or they
think
have.
so.
Could
Yeah.
redeem Lex Luthor.
Just be like from his lens, where he's like, everybody loves Superman, but Superman actually is just like
That
banging
was
chicks, and
that was Batman. That's what he did. He was like, how can we love Superman when he's killed all these people fighting what's his Zod?
yeah,
It
Yeah.
resulted in thousands of death, and Batman was
Oh, yeah.
super upset.
yeah. Well,
That's what you're thinking of.
maybe.
Well, I have some not so great news that Docs
no.
sent us.
Oh,
and
I've seen this before.
yes, there are two massive biomolecular shifts that occur
Oh,
in
fuck.
humans,
Not.
and one
No.
happens in your
No.
40s. Yeah, around 44. Changes detect to molecules tied to cardiovascular disease. That they are with notable declines in caffeine processing, possibly linked to sleep disruptions or sensitivity.
Oh shit.
Not good.
Yeah, I don't need this study to tell me that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I know that I
Oh,
can't
make
drink
your study.
caffeine. I know that I can't drink caffeine after 10 a.m. and still go to sleep at night.
A biomolecular shift.
Mhm.
I could feel it in each
Did you
molecule.
feel it shift? You kind of like got
Yeah.
bumped a little to the
Ah.
left. You're like,
I actually, I hired this team to study my actual age, and my real age is 22, and I'm actually only aging 0.5 years per year.
oh, what's your
That's pretty
secret? What
good.
time do
Yeah,
you
how
wake
do you
up in
do
the
that?
morning? I can't believe you unless you tell me you wake up before 5.
I get up at 3.
Okay, now I can
Nice.
believe you.
Yeah, and I start getting all of my blue light in immediately by watching TV, and I
Then
do
your red
that-
light.
Nope, just blue light,
Oh.
and I do that for 12 hours a day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is depressing,
Mhm.
but also unnecessary. Although
Yeah.
it sounds like there's another hard brick wall that will hit in our 60s.
around 60 that ends up happening, and then
That's
around
less
60,
of a deal.
yes, that is a shift involving in your metabolizing of carbohydrates, your immune regulation, your kidney function, tissue repair.
So
And-
at
And
60,
balance.
I'll stop eating entire pizzas. It sounds like that's the time to
Start
stop.
going to Chick-fil-A now, Danny.
Well, I'm still
Yeah.
slamming. I had like 3/4 of an entire pizza yesterday.
But what
Wow.
size, though?
Medium.
Oh, you should be eating a whole medium at this age.
Well, I'd already had eggs and toast like an hour before. So
So wait, was it breakfast
pace
pizza,
no, I had a late egg and toast breakfast.
a brunch,
And
and then into
then a
lunch?
pizza was made by me.
And someone made a
I
pizza,
was
so I
like-
had to have some.
Is anybody gonna share this pizza? I thought everyone would want some, but nobody did. So I ate
What?
most of it.
Yeah.
I
Was there
like,
something wrong with it? Why didn't anybody want the pizza?
I don't know. They
Kids,
just
because kids.
kids. So I ate that pizza. That was my duty.
Yeah.
But
What
I'm
do you-
fine. I'm not 60, so
Yeah.
I should.
What
be
do you
good.
want to eat, kids? Oh, whatever the most expensive thing you'll allow me to have on the menu is. Okay, cool. Are you hungry? Yes. Food comes. I'm not hungry.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
So it resulted in almost an entire pizza.
All right.
That's okay though. You'll get over it.
Yeah.
You're already
Danny,
over it.
Do you have any things to tell us about in your bolt hole today?
A quick one. I know we've got some time constraints here.
Mhm.
I've got 2. I'll do the quick one
All
that I
right.
thought for sure would show up.
All right, here. Let me bring in Danny's bolt hole song.
Welcome to my bolt hole. I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna feel you belong.
Yes.
Eternally mission.
Real quick, and again, I'm surprised. It might even be on. Let me double check. Did this ever make it on the list? The foot long $5 nachos at Subway. Subway.
No, I didn't see
Is-
that.
Yeah, you don't want to eat an entire pizza. You want to get those carbs from somewhere else. Well, Subway, realizing that people don't necessarily like their sandwiches, I'm
Mhm.
guessing, they're offering a $5 foot long nacho.
They've done so many foot long things. They've done
Yeah,
the foot
that's like
long
their whole
churro,
gimmick.
the foot long cookie, the foot long pretzel. Now foot-long nachos.
They own the foot, right? That's like their measurement of choice, which is risky because it's led to lawsuits. Unless this
Mhm.
nacho is exactly 12 inches in length, I'm
Yeah.
not interested and I will sue.
Yeah.
But yeah,
exactly.
they're offering foot long. I just want people to know that that option's out there, because sometimes when you're driving around or you're busy, you're trying to find somewhere to eat, you look at Subway and you're like, I would go there if they had nachos.
Yeah.
And then
Or you're like, I want to go to the stadium right now because they
Yeah.
have nachos, but they're not open because they don't have a game going on.
Exactly. So now just know that when you see a Subway, of which I believe Subway has the most franchises, they used
Mhm.
to,
They do. They still
they're,
do.
Mhm.
they're now serving $5 foot long nachos. So you can get your nacho fix, even if
But-
Subway is the only place available.
Quality are these nachos?
Probably exactly what you can imagine.
Yeah.
This
What is
isn't
a
like
foot-long nacho served in?
A foot long paper.
a wax
Yeah.
paper box container.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a foot long one. And then it's just, I imagine just like the sloppy cheese mix with lumps in it.
Looks like it has onions, jalapeno,
Oh,
or as I should say, jalapeno. And then the grossest kind of cheese, two different kinds of cheeses. Both of them are liquid at room temperature. So, it's like
at
the
room
worst-
temperature?
I'm guessing.
Or you're
just from the
guessing.
picture.
Yeah. Okay.
It's that
Mhm.
kind of cheese, like when
Yeah.
you go to
With the skin on top as it coagulates.
Yes, the skin, the cheese
Yeah.
skin, everyone's favorite part.
There you go. Here's some Subway foot-long nachos.
I mean,
let's
that's the
see you lo-
marketing picture.
Let's see you lose 138 pounds on nothing but foot long Subway nachos.
And it looks like they use Doritos as the nacho chips.
Oh yeah, that's the selling point. You can get, like, Taco Bell was running the Dorito game for a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
they're
Those
like-
Dorito Loco tacos are pretty good. Now Subway's getting into it.
Yeah.
They're gonna have some Doritos nachos. Just know that they're available. Don't just look at Subway and say, I don't feel like a sandwich. Now you've got options.
Yeah. If you want, like, if you're like, oh, I haven't had indigestion for a while and I want post sporting event diarrhea.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is like you can
I'm
get
not
it without
60.
going.
I
you don't
want to feel like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. There should be a warning that says this is not for people over the age of 60.
I don't have 4 hours to go to a baseball game,
Mhm.
but I do want the diarrhea.
So yeah, there we go.
Okay. All right. Let's
Subway.
load in our image for today. Okay.
Foot long nachos.
Okay.
Um,
And now Chick-fil-A also.
oh yeah, Chick-fil-A. We also have the
An avatar and
the
a
lady-
giant moon.
Okay. Okay.
lady getting bombed with poop.
All right, but we need a
bags
story here that we just are like throwing out a
We're
bunch
just
of
throwing out all of the
yeah.
things. Yeah.
at first to hear
okay.
to see. So
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I think we should go with the person in church wrestling nachos.
wrestling nachos.
no,
Yes. Wrestling nachos.
Nacho Libre.
While fans throw poop at the wrestlers.
bags of poop at the
Mm.
wrestlers.
Okay.
Maybe
Or
like
how about woman getting pile drived in church while people throw bags
while
of
her
poop
dog takes a dump.
and people are throwing bags of poop at her while she's enjoying a foot long nachos, and just see what AI comes
I
up with
absolutely
for
feel
foot
like
long
church
nachos.
wrestling should be like the head up.
Okay.
Yeah.
The most prominent thing.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm sorry,
there's
Rob. We
a-
didn't give you a really clear idea there. We just threw everything at you.
Yeah.
I could do it. You want me to? You're typing.
You got. I'm typing.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
let's see what it comes up with. But I think, yeah, the wrestling in church, the poop bags definitely have to be there.
Church
Okay.
wrestling alone would probably produce something pretty cool.
While everyone's eating foot long nachos
Yes,
or
yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Danny, what's coming up for you this week?
Well, a person emailed me,
Good.
which I told you about my email thing. So I was going through my daily purge.
Mhm.
First thing I do in the morning is to purge my email of all the junk. And I noticed that someone emailed me with my name. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I clicked on it, and it was an invitation to go adventure. Now, normally when I get an email, that's not someone you would respond to. But luckily, this person pointed out that we had met maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. So I called this person up, and yeah, I'm going on an adventure with someone who emailed me. So desperate times call for desperate measures.
So did they get your email?
I don't know how they got my email. They know we have a point of connection.
Okay.
It's just so weird. They didn't reach out and get my phone number. Somehow they had my email, my junk email,
Okay.
and they emailed me. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm getting older. I need to have more friends, not fewer friends, or else dementia will just come in.
It
So
will set in immediately.
yeah, it set in immediately. So yeah, hopefully here in
Is
the
this
next
a
couple
Utah
days.
person?
No. They're
So
in
you're going
Idaho.
somewhere? You're going skiing in Idaho?
Yeah, hopefully. Weather, it's all weather
Permit.
dependent. I
Yeah.
mean, now I'm just accepting invitations from anyone because now remember I'm going also on an adventure upcoming with Seamus.
Yes.
If you remember that story.
Seamus. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep. So now I'm just hanging out with strangers, I guess, until eventually I just get murdered in a car park.
That's fine.
I think that's where this ends. If you accept
my God.
invitations by email from people, eventually you end up in a rolled up carpet. So
Yeah.
Okay. I
There
have
it
some
is.
bad news.
Oh,
no.
couldn't handle it?
Couldn't handle it. Currently experiencing high demand. Was not able to generate the image at the moment.
What?
We
So you
could
think anything
try
we
to
put in?
rework it later? I think it's saying can't make an image right now. It's too busy.
What did we pay
Okay.
the subscription for?
I don't know.
Rob does.
Yeah. I mean,
All
I pay
right.
for a lot of things, but
Yeah, but still, but like if you can't get an image when you need it,
let's see. Now still having high demand. I asked, can you try again? All right. So I'll work on this in the,
Okay. Yes.
in the off
in
time.
the post.
Yeah.
I think my vision for it is there's a big religious stained glass window in the background of the
Yeah, that'd be
wrestling
cool.
Yeah.
with all the audience sitting there enjoying their foot-long nachos, or maybe all the audience is eating out of a trough of nachos.
Oh,
like a
yeah.
A
long
nacho trough.
A
Yeah.
nacho trough.
Look at you. You've just come up with just a great idea.
Is Subway working with Klarna for people who can't afford the footlong nachos at
Yes.
the time?
If you DoorDash your $5 nachos, you will be
can pay it.
Klarna.
You can pay $1 every 4 months
Yeah.
for a year
What
to
a
get
sweet
those.
deal for you. By the end, you'll end up paying $10 for your $5 nachos, but hell,
Imagine.
Hell,
Yeah.
Klarna.
Yeah. And then Tyson, anything else going on with you?
No, just heading home and business as usual. Got the game going tonight and gonna go see Kim Spradlin today.
Oh,
Ethan and I
nice.
are, yeah. So we're gonna go grab lunch with Kim and Brian, her husband.
Yeah.
And then I have the earliest flight out of San Antonio tomorrow, the 5 a.m.er.
Wow.
Nice.
You gonna stay up all night?
I don't know, maybe.
He's 40. He's over 40.
Yeah.
So those types of things will kill you.
True.
You know what? I could go to bed. I'm gonna stay up all night if I have a 5 a.m. flight. I'm not like I'm gonna get in bed at 9
You're
a.m.
not falling
9
asleep
p.m.
anyways.
I'm like,
yeah.
I gotta wake up.
You have to try.
You
Don't
gotta
get-
try.
I
You have to
try and I
try.
end up falling asleep for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? All right, and then I'll be in Boston.
Yes.
So come on over. Come say Hail Klarna in person.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a good crowd showing up?
Good crowd showing up. A sold out show in
Wow.
Boston, Mass. at the Huntington Theater for
Cool.
Wednesday Night Survivor.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be back next week. Join us then. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
See ya. Wait, is that what I usually say? Oh,
No.
we did it, guys.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.